Alrighty, Bo, I want to talk to you about something I heard Pace Morby say at an event I was at over the weekend in Orlando, Florida. Pace Morby obviously was the headliner of the event, and he really started off his presentation highlighting that AI, artificial intelligence, is about to significantly disrupt the job market. Pace believes that the unemployment rate might get to and exceed 10% in the next couple of years. He went on to talk about affordable housing, co-living, mobile homes, and things of that nature. But where I want to go in this conversation with you is if, and again, I'm not sure I believe kind of we're headed there that fast, but if we're headed 10% unemployment and we are going to see entry level jobs probably hurt the most. We're going to see an impact in white collar jobs. I was left thinking, is it now the right time to start a business, get a franchise, get vending, get something that won't be disrupted, at least not disrupted quickly? And all I can think about while watching Pace talk about AI and 10% unemployment was, wow, it might be time to get a business and start something on your own. But what say you? What do you think?
So I would say the jobs that nobody wants are they're going to be still around, right? People flipping burgers, that's all going to be around still. I think the displacement's going to come in like the tech sector where they're doing things that are going to be replaced with the AI systems, like a lot of the coding and things like that. I believe that's what will get displaced. So you're going to have like this kind of hybrid employee that's been doing fairly well. I don't think it'll be the hardworking people that are doing the things like the landscaping jobs and things like that, right? So if we look at that, going what jobs will be displaced, most likely it's going to be those kind of high paid tech jobs, in my opinion, that can be replaced. Like Salesforce came out a while back. Do you remember that?
I do.
I think he said he could replace like 60 or 70% of his staff.
Yeah, I think he went on record saying 40% of the stuff being done was being done by AI, which obviously means if you extrapolate that, massive headcount reduction or at least no more hiring. When I think about AI and what you and I do each week, I see AI potentially impacting entry-level jobs, college graduates. If I look at the statistics today, college graduates have some of the highest unemployment rates, and that might be getting worse. So if I was being a parent at home and my kid wasn't sure what they wanted to do, like they didn't tell me since they were 8 they wanted to be a doctor or a lawyer or something that requires college, the answer might be, let's go get you a franchise, right? Let's see, honey, if you can't save up 10 grand and, maybe I'll match 10 grand and let's go get you a franchise so you can start something yourself. I think there's going to be a lot more 18, 19, 20-year-olds getting into the franchise game because college is proven to be wasteful for a lot of kids. I mean, they're coming out in hundreds of K in debt, sometimes without even a degree, and they can't get jobs. So why even go, right? If you don't have a plan, you don't have an ROI, maybe the right answer is a franchise. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, franchise searches are at an all-time high, at least in the last 8 years.
There you go.
So what that shows me is that there's so many people right now, and I see it across the board on the lending side and the franchise consultant side that I do, that there's so many people that are at least putting their toes in the water right now. And let me tell you, the banks are so backlogged with SBA loans right now. And they're getting tighter on their guidelines because there's been a lot of changes to the underwriting at what we call the SOP to SBA for SBA loans, but we're still getting a lot of them done. So I see a huge surge of people looking and getting into businesses, right? Not just looking, but actually getting into businesses. And they're getting into a lot of home service, B2B. I do a lot of vending, obviously, because that's get into business, but not quit your job. Easy, 1 hour per week per machine. So if you have children, going back to that, right? You're a decently paid W-2 employee. You have no tax write-offs. You have a child that's working part-time and they're in high school. Instead of them working part-time for W-2, you give them the opportunity to run a business with you, which is vending. And then you buy $100,000 of machines. You utilize 100% bonus depreciation. You offset some of your W-2. Your son or daughter now has a business going. They understand profit and loss and all that stuff, right? whether it's that scenario or, hey, I don't have kids, but I know I'm probably going to be eliminated from my W-2 job at some point, and I don't want to wait to that point. Like if you wait and then you get fired, it's like it's hard, right?
Yeah.
You're better off leaving at some point and having a plan B, as Michael Zuber says. So
Yeah. Yeah. The thing that I
you're
think
never
about
too late.
here, yeah, the thing I think about here is it's easiest for me to see entry level jobs increasingly being kind of cut off because of AI, right? It's the repetitive, it's that low value add. But then I go up to where I was a leader in the .com era, and I was at a small software company. We had just filed to go public, and then 9/11 happened, and the world obviously changed forever on 9/11. And the little software company I went to that was going to go public never did. In fact, about 90 days after 9/11, we had to lay off like 30% of the company. And where am I going with this? You just never know when stuff happens and when you're forced to make decisions. And having stared at that spreadsheet, I can still see myself in the conference room, or what was the boardroom, looking at an Excel spreadsheet going, I have to whack 12 people. And where I was left with this is there's going to be a lot less middle management. I think what happens in bull markets, growth markets, is a lot of people get promoted and you're managing 4 people, 5 people, 6 people. But what happens in a recession is you go from managing 4 or 5 to managing 15. And not only do I see AI potentially impacting entry-level jobs, I think middle management could get gutted, right? And if you're stuck in one of those middle management jobs, first off, you're making a shit ton of money. And, it's very likely that 30% of you could go away and the company would still function. So those are the people I look at going, holy cow, you make a bunch of money, but you're one notice away from being bankrupt. Because again, a lot of us live too close to the edge. We don't save any money. We don't have assets to fall back on. And it's the middle manager, right? The 40-year-old, the 45-year-old, shoot, the 50-year-old, that I'm like, whoa, if you don't have a plan B and you get got, there's nothing coming back from that. So those are the people I feel are really at risk.
One thing I would say is when I'm doing the loans, I'm looking at people's financial statements, and some of them are very well to do, but the majority aren't, right? The reality is the majority aren't. The guy, they might be making 150, 200 a year, which is, back in the day, that would seem like a lot of money.
Yeah.
But they're not saving anything. They're the taxes. And so if you're in your 40s or your 50s or your 60s and you got 15 or 20 grand and that's it, liquidity, that's a couple months, right? And that's how the majority of people, and those are people making 6 figures. Yeah. What about all these people that are minimum wage? It's a scary thing. I was at the gas station this morning, true story. And I always talk to the lady that works behind the desk, and one of the other workers was there, and we got talking about politics, of course, and what's going on. And he told me that he lives in his car. He said he lives in his car. He's a really nice guy. And he said, I just couldn't make it. I was like, I never could get ahead. Like, I'm working for 20 something bucks an hour. I'm trying to educate myself. I didn't come from a family that really promoted that. Here's a guy living in his car to save money because that's the only way he'll ever get ahead. And I applauded him for that. And I just thought and then I went to the gym, and I go to the gym here in Henderson, and there's a guy with he's an older guy, a veteran, on his license plate. He lives in his car, right? He lives in the car at the gym, and I see him every morning. I never talk to him, but every time I see him, I feel really bad because I see him walking with the cane into the gym. He must use it to shower and stuff. So
yep.
We don't want to be in their shoes, right? We don't want to have to make a decision. Hey, I'm just going to live in my car. And most of the listeners, obviously, one rental at a time. Majority of them are actually in really good shape compared to the majority of the world.
Yeah.
But we got to think about that, because if you only got 20 or 30 grand liquid, period, and no other assets really, maybe a house, you lose your job and you're screwed. And so It's about building wealth every day and stacking skills. And that's,
Yep.
I am concerned because if we do go into another recession, because I remember 2007, I was so over leveraged, and I didn't have a W-2 job, and I wasn't prepared, and I got wiped out. And I never want to have that feeling again, because let me tell you, when you have $100,000 of credit card debt that's all late and in the process being charged off, and you have foreclosures and things like that, I don't wish that pain upon anybody. Yeah, you can rebound, but I did. But financial constraints is the worst constraint, really, other than the health of your family. So it's our duty on this channel to help people and just say, look, is it going to be easy? Hell no, it's not going to be easy. And Zuber's like, that's what I really like about you, is that you don't sugarcoat it. And you're like, you made it and you won the game, financial game, because you sacrificed and you worked and you got into the right job in life, in the W-2. You saved your money, lived below your means, and you bought one rental at a time, and then you traded for multiple. So like, you are like the American dream, right? To inspire people, you have to live like, the majority of people aren't going to get rich overnight. The majority of people have to do it the Zuber way. The majority, 99% of the people, if they want to make it and win the game like the Zubers did, you have to understand that you have to be a Zuber in many ways, right? You don't have to be exactly like Zuber, but you have to. If he did it, we all can do it, but he didn't do it easily. It took him 10, 15 years of like grinding like no other. Like, and last thing I'll say, and I'll shut up, is like, if you look at what Zuber did on his weight loss, he set a goal, he made a plan, and every single day he walked steps and steps and steps, where the majority of people would say, oh, I'm done after 1 mile. He goes, no, I'm doing 10 miles. Right. And he did it day in and day out. So
yeah, it's remarkable to me. I'm glad you brought up this health journey. And for those that don't know, the health journey on this year is I started at 34.8% body fat, and I'm currently sitting right around 11, maybe 11.3 as of this morning, with a goal to get to 9.9. So we're well on our way. But what does it mean? Well, outwardly, I lost 40 pounds of fat, gained 10 pounds of muscle, so down 30 pounds on the scale. I've gone from an extra large shirt to a small. I've gone from a 34 waist to a 30. Close it better. And I feel better. And the thing that I love about this health journey is it was, in the grand scheme of things, what I did to lose all this weight and gain muscle is exactly what I did to get wealthy. The only difference is you can get healthy. You can make noticeable body changes in 90 days. In 6 months, you're a different human being. Building wealth, unfortunately, takes 5 years, 8 years, 10 years, and it's much, much slower because it doesn't compound. But the beauty of this health journey for me is it just once again proves to me, if you want to do something, it takes focus, daily discipline, and commitment, consistency. I don't care if you want to lose weight, get rich, have a great relationship with your family, with God. I don't care. I don't care what you want to do, but if you declare it and you just execute on it daily, consistently, your chances of success go through the roof. Most people, to your point, give up after a week, a weekend, an hour. They just weak. They're soft. But if you want to do it, then do it. Let's go. What do you think?
100%. I look, anybody can do it, right? And so you can go to onerentalmeeting.com and schedule a call, and we can have an initial conversation, even if it's just, hey, let me talk to Bo and let me spend 15 minutes just seeing what options are out there. But the ones that take action, and it doesn't have to take action with me. I'm just a resource, right? I'm like, I think I could provide a lot of value, whether I work with you or not, that's fine. It's just that you got to do something, and then you got to build a plan, and you got to set a target, whatever that target is. And then you have to execute on a daily basis and stay extremely consistent. Right. I'll just add this last story. I was stumbling around on YouTube and actually started listening to this guy, and I started following him all the time. And this guy is a sales guy, right? He's been doing sales. He started as a he sold encyclopedias door to door for like
Oh my
18
goodness.
years.
Wow.
And then he got into another business, which he's been doing for like the last 18 years. Today, this guy makes $400,000 a month on residuals, and his goal is to give away $1 million a year. If that just gives you an indication.
Damn.
To this day, the guy still writes 300 deals per year. He loves doing it. And he's like, I don't even need to work. He says he buys houses cash now, right? $400,000. The reason he won, and I'm going to coin it the Zuber method. The Zuber method isn't this whole shiny object shit. Oh, I can't say shit.
Yeah, it's all right. You're good.
All right.
One time, you get one pass.
Okay. Sorry, guys. No, bleep that out. All right. So the Zuber method, please buy that domain name.
Zuber method?
Zuber method. Get it today. Anybody watching this when this uploads, make sure. The Zuber method is really simple. It's extreme ownership, it's extreme accountability, and it's understanding that you get a one-track mind and you stay hyper-focused on that goal. So if you can hang with the Zuber method. I used to listen to David Goggins, and in his audio book he talked about, look, when you're doing excuse me, my thing dropped. When you're doing pull-ups, right? Or push-ups, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna stop. He always said, no, you still have 40%. So I would crank out another 4 reps every time.
Nice.
Why would I stop if I didn't really I wasn't tired? So the Zuber method is all around that consistency in life, that there's no free lunches. You're not going to get rich overnight. Let's face it. Only that, 0.01% do that because they're working for a tech software platform that IPO'd or whatever. Right. And so like, if you realize that and say, okay, if I know that, then I know that if I want to lose, like Zuber didn't do any hypothetically stuff to lose the weight. What he did is goes, look, if I know 3,500 calorie expenditure is 1 pound. If I walk this many steps per day, that's, I'm burning 8,000 calories or whatever. And I can just force it because I work harder than everybody else. So if you know that, and nothing's coming easy for me. And to this day, I'm still like, nothing comes easy, but I work hard and I will continue to do that. And I look at this guy who's doing $400,000 a month in residuals in his business, and he's still doing deals.
Nice.
And he's now helping people. It's a similar situation as you, Zuber. I look at you two as role models, that extreme discipline and, practicing what you preach. Like this guy is a multi-millionaire, and he packs a lunch in his car because he doesn't want to take an hour to have a lunch at an executive lunch, right? Nice. This is mentality. So guys, we can all do it. I think pick a role model like a Zuber and go, okay, what does Zuber do that I'm not doing? And it's extreme and it's extreme accountability. Now, I do believe that we could be a Zuber, but 99% of us say, hey, I don't need to have 180 doors. I need 10 doors. And that's lifestyle. Because Zuber will tell you, look, it's not easy, and not everybody has to do what I did because I will torture myself to get goals, my results. So there is a happy medium, but the point is, if you can be like Mike, be like Mike as much as you can.
Bo, you're amazing. I still am amazed you went out and bought this domain, onerentalmeeting.com. Folks, you got to go there, get your 15 minutes, see what's right for you. Again, if you are, getting out of high school and you're not sure about college, you have a kid doing that. Maybe it is a franchise. Maybe it's your opportunity to partner with your kid and have a business together. If you are a senior or mid-level executive, folks, we might have that white-collar recession they've been talking about for a while in the next couple of years. Get that plan B. Get that thing so you're not scrambling should you get that notice out of left field. Bo, closing thoughts, and let's wrap it up.
I just want to say, if you guys are watching this, join us live next week. We got a special guest. He's a very sharp individual. He's going to be joining us. And we're going to be talking about a franchise model, and they utilize subcontractors, so you don't need a bunch of employees. And you're going to learn about this system. I think it's impressive. It's good to when in the future, if we do this again with other guests that own different business models that are franchises or whatever, it's good even if it's not the right fit for you, because I want you to get your reps in and learn about business models. How do these business models operate? We got to look at a lot of businesses and narrow down our buy box. So join us next week live, and then go to onerentalmeeting.com and book a call.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you.
All right.